Welcome to the Women's Hoop Show. The NCAA season may be over, but women's basketball is just heating up. We're just getting started. The WNBA draft wrapped up last night, and there is a lot to unpack about where top prospects landed, what it means for the league, who was best dressed. You know, we're going to get into that. Joining me to break it all down is none other than the legend herself, Sheryl Swoopes. Let's dive in. All right, Sheryl, the 2025 WNBA draft is in the books. I can't believe we're here for another draft. This is like our third one together. Time is flying. Oh my gosh.
I am here for it, right? Like you said, NCAA finish. And now I'm like, okay, I need more. And probably because the Final Four wasn't what I hoped it would be. So I'm like, give me more. Okay, let's go. Let's on to the next. And yeah, super excited about the draft. Excited about the fits. I'm excited about all of it.
Well, I love you say give me more because women's basketball is like, yes, we will give you more immediately. A lot of these players haven't even graduated yet. They might still have assignments due on draft night. Like, it comes fast. And the WNBA season is a month away from starting. They go to training camp. They go straight into the W season. There is no rest for the wicked, which I'm happy about because we don't have to wait that long before we get some more good basketball.
And after looking at the draft and the picks and the teams, we are going to have some really good basketball this season.
It's going to be...
I'm excited.
A great season. But let's start with the place that we always want to start with, and that is the outfits.
Ooh.
Sheryl, we turn into the fashion police every WNBA draft, and it is my favorite time that we can look at these outfits. Just your overall vibe of how everybody came to the orange carpet. What are your initial thoughts?
I was trying to think of one
word. Be honest.
But no. I don't know the one word. I'm going to be very honest with you. This might, honestly, there really wasn't one that I was like, she missed, or no, I wouldn't wear. So when I look at like style and the fit, I'm looking more from a standpoint of when I was their age, if it was something I would rock. Right? Would I rock this on the orange carpet? And there were a few that I was like, girl, in my teens and 20s, I would have tore that fit up.
Wait, who?
Not so much today. But I have to say this, and you tell me if you saw this or not. This is what I felt. There was a lot of like the girls just being out, but not out, right? Like the no shirt underneath that. Okay, explain.
This is what me and my husband call it. Because this has been a trend over women's basketball for long. But it's the boobs and blazer. Like the boobs and blazer look.
Boobs and blazer. That's what it was.
Because it's the no shirt with the blazer and your skin is the shirt. But what I don't like about that, because I think four people had that look. Paige switched to that look. Isaiah James had it. And one other player had it.
Yeah, I think I saw four players like that, right?
Four. And it's my whole thing is
Sonia Citron had it. Yeah.
Sonia Citron had it. So my whole thing is when you saw Paige like at her table, she's just has her hand over her jacket the whole time. Yes. Because you're worried that you're going to have an outfit malfunction. And even A'ja Wilson had that look when she did her jersey retirement. And every photo, she has her hand kind of over her blazer. So it doesn't look comfortable. And I think that's my biggest critique. Like, it's a little overdone and it doesn't look comfortable.
Yeah. So your critique is just like mine. Here, I'm going to add a little something extra to it. If you're going to rock the boobs and blazer look, then rock it.
Right.
I don't want to see. You're 100% correct. So every time like you bend over, like Paige was hugging everyone and Sonia was, and it was always like, I'm just going to give you a one-arm hug because I need this hand to hold up my. So my thing is like, either like own it, all of it, or put a shirt on, boo. It's
Just put a
still
shirt on.
cute.
It's still really cute. I agree.
So that's the one thing for me that I'm like, I probably wouldn't have rocked that look for that reason. I wouldn't want to be uncomfortable. And when you bend over, you're worried about something coming out, or when you're hugging, just all the things that you're going to be doing during draft, right? You don't want that. And then in pictures, like, let me see the whole look. I don't want to see the hand up here, right? Like, give it all to me. Give it all to me.
I loved Paige's first look.
Yeah.
It was
oh my gosh.
sparkly. It was a suit. It was flowy. Now that looked comfortable. And her hair was like crimped and down.
Everything.
It was, I am the number one pick all the way. And I loved that. And she changed into the boobs and blazer situation.
Boobs and blazer. I love the boobs.
Here's my observation though. It was a lot of black. It was a lot.
Yeah.
Everyone was wearing black.
Yes. Kiki Area. I always say her last name wrong, so I don't want to say it, but
Area Finn.
Yeah. So listen, I love the color. I love the look. I love the hair. I love how she was paying homage to her heritage, all the things. And she like ate that fit up. And I love, to your point, I love the fact that it wasn't black. Because you're right. It was
gold.
It was a lot of black. It was a lot of black.
Yes. Hailey Van Lith said it's a funeral for their college season.
That was funny. That was funny.
That's why they were wearing the black.
It was classy black. What was your favorite fit?
It was classic. Kiki might be my favorite fit because it was the effort that went into it. It was the same Nigerian designer that designed Chineye Ogwumike's wedding dress.
Yeah.
So it was this whole look. You know how when we talk about fits, you can't just put some clothes on. It has to be the wig, the makeup, the shoes, the accessories.
Yeah.
And Kiki looked so stunning. From head to toe. Someone tweeted that Kiki Iriafen should put that wig in the rafters and it should never be worn again because that's how amazing.
Damn, not the rafters. No, we don't want to swing it from the rafters. Girl, listen, keep rocking that wig because that thing was giving me life. It was gorgeous.
Also, Georgia Amore being styled by Russell Westbrook in his line Honor the Gift, which was like a random, incredible collaboration that I didn't know that I needed in my life. And Russ was at the draft like a proud dad. He was so happy for Georgia Amore getting drafted. So I loved her fit. I think it was different. It was black, but it had some patterns. It was leather. It was really cute. Really, really cute. And Isaiah James, too. That's the last person I'll say. Isaiah James had a whole fit.
She was rocking the boobs and blazer, too.
She was.
But the jacket, the whole fit, I was like, oh, the hair.
The hair, so cute.
I was like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing. She's in my top like two between Kiki and Isaiah. I was like, those two for me. I agree with you. I love the Honor the Gift, Russ and Georgia Amore. I was the same. I was like, oh wow, this just came out of left field. Didn't know I needed this in my life. But she was proud to wear it. He was sitting there just smiling. He was so proud that she was wearing it.
It was so cute.
Those are probably my faves, but I also thought Hailey Van Lith looked so beautiful.
She did.
I liked when she did her interview. She talked about a little Marilyn Monroe look with the hair, but the dress was gorgeous. The hair was pretty. The makeup. I thought every single draftee in this class, I thought they presented themselves well. I thought they hit it out the park. Like seriously, there wasn't a one player that I looked at and I was like, oh, you should have looked in the mirror again and again. I didn't
Everyone came
had that
correct.
before. Yeah. It was nice. It was very, very nice. Sonia Citron looked really pretty to me too.
Stunning.
Yeah.
Effortlessly.
Gorgeous.
Effortlessly, just so pretty. And
Yeah.
Coach is a new sponsor of the WNBA, and they announced it on the orange carpet. So Hailey Van Lith was in a custom Coach dress. Anissa Morrow was in a custom Coach dress. I believe Paige's suit with the sparkles was also custom Coach. So love when the W partners with the brand and we get to immediately see the impact about the style, and everyone had a Coach purse. It was so cute. I loved it.
It was gorgeous. Like that a lot.
Okay, so now we're probably going to go shopping the next time we meet up because we have fashion on the brain. That happens every time anyway. Let's talk about the draft picks themselves. So PaigeBueckers goes #1 overall to Dallas, which was not a surprise. We knew that they were going to get that pick. She's the 6th UConn player to be selected first overall in some amazing company. But let's just talk about Dallas for a second. I think they made some really good picks, and we talk about winners of the draft. Of course, you're going to be a winner when you have the #1 overall pick, but I think they made some really smart decisions, especially for Curt Miller in his first year in this GM role. How did you feel about who the Dallas Wings kind of picked up?
Well, there was no doubt Paige Buckets was going #1, right? But I'll tell you, I agree with you. I think Dallas, they already got better with Paige, but I think Isaiah James is a steal at number 12. I just do. I love her quickness, her athleticism. Like she's a bucket. She's a bucket. And throwing her in with who else they have, right? You got Paige, but you got Arike, Dejanay, Nalissa. I really like this Dallas Wings roster. I do. But I'll be very curious to see if there are other players that they'll invite to training camp that, might be able to make the team. But I think Dallas got exactly what they wanted. However, I do think when I look at the roster right now, just off the top of my head, since they lost Kalani Brown, they still have Tara McCowan, they got Nalissa Smith. I wouldn't have been mad if they would have gone a different direction at number 12, maybe, and gone for another big. Right? Like another 4 or 5. But I'm also not mad that they went that way with Isaiah James because I really love her game. So I like what Dallas did in the draft.
I agree with you. And their full draft picks, they got Paige, they got Isaiah James, they got Madison Scott, they got JJ Quinterly from West Virginia, who is also a dog. And then they got Aronette Vonleh, who is a post player. They got her in the 3rd round, coming from Baylor. So I think they have some really, really good picks. And I did a live draft reaction with Natasha Cloud on the Bleacher Report app last night. And first of all, we had a time. That was so fun. Tosh is so funny.
I know you did.
She's hilarious. But I asked her, what training camp would you not want to be in? And she said Dallas. Like, this is a tough training camp. There is not enough spots to have all this talent that they drafted. So it's like an overwhelming amount of riches that they have, especially when Curt Miller says he focused on guard depth and defensive talent. But you ain't got enough spots for all these players. Like, somebody's not going to be able to play.
Somebody's not going to make the team. And somebody's not going to make the team.
Sad.
Because to your point, JJ Quinterly, especially if she's healthy, like JJ's a dog. She can score. She defends. Van Lith from Baylor, I believe. She go to Baylor.
Yep. We went to Baylor,
I mean,
started at
just
Colorado.
just being from Texas, but she's another one of those players. She plays hard, she competes. And let's remember the players that are currently on the roster. Absolutely. This Dallas Wings training camp is going to be tough, but it's also going to be fun. Like it's going to be fun to see who lasts, who comes out of here, who makes the team. And that's why we need to hurry up and get our other two teams.
Hurry it up.
Yeah.
We're on our way. I also want to talk about the number 2 pick. The Seattle Storm got Dominique Malonga from France. First of all, she was so adorable in all of her interviews. And she also went with the black and white, but a tailored suit and these really funky frames. She looked amazing. But at 6'6", we kind of talked about her a lot in the preview show. But I think Seattle Storm made the right pick. Going a center, having her in the mix of, I see a world where it can be Nneka, Ezi, and Dominique all on the floor at the same time. That is 100%. The Monstars. That's crazy.
Yeah, put Ezi at the 3 or put Nneka at the 3. Either one of them.
Either one of them. Just get a bucket and defend.
That's scary. And she's young. She's young. 19. With already so much talent, but tons of potential. Let me tell I loved, me, I'm a sucker for emotion, but I love seeing the parents' reactions. But there's something when you see the dads tearing up and wiping tears away, like, no, I'm not really crying. Don't put the camera on me right now. Like that just pulls at my heartstrings. And I just love seeing her dad, seeing her there. And, she gave a shout out to her team in France, her national team in France. But I love how she also came back to her African heritage, right? And she was just like, yeah, this isn't just for France, but it's also for my African heritage. And it was just so beautiful to see her there. You're right. Her interview with Holly was really good. And I'm excited to see what this kid's going to do in the WNBA because she's going to be a good one. I agree with you. Seattle Storm, I thought it was the right pick for them as well.
And we talk about, international draft picks quite a bit and how she is super high. We don't see a lot of them getting picked number 2 overall. Yeah. I think that just shows how special and a talent that she is. She's being, likened to Wembanyama on the NBA side on how she can be this transformational player. But it was quite a few international picks that I think in previous years, it was, we're going to pick this international player because we need to pick somebody and we're going to, hold them until we really need them in a few seasons. And that's kind of how international picks have gone. But this draft, no, you have Malonga from France. You had Asha Shavika from Slovenia. Talk about a waterworks with her and her dad. Did you see that? She was great.
I did.
My inspiration of why I play. And he was
boo-hooing. Like he was boo-hooing for real.
Oh my God. It was so sweet.
You're talking about international players. Yeah. And Jordan, usually lots of times when teams draft international players, you also don't know if they're going to come over and play right away. And so that's why sometimes teams are a little hesitant to do it. But to your point, you had Malonga go to Seattle, and forgive me if I say names wrong, but was it Juste that the Valkyries drafted from Lithuania?
Yes,
right.
We will get your 5. Name, girl. We got you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Ashta Sifka, there's clearly talent internationally. We've known that forever. And when I look at the Valkyries, in particularly the Valkyries, it's like they got a whole international flavor going on over there.
They do 10 international players, which is the most by any team, I believe, ever to have 10 international players on one team. What do you think about that? It seems like a purposeful approach at this point. This isn't a coincidence to have 10 international players.
I agree with you on that one. Initially, when, the expansion draft and when I saw the players that the Valkyries were selecting, I honestly was like, this is real interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are definitely some American players that are really good that she could have taken. But there's clearly something she is feeling and seeing with international players that she's like, this is the route we're going to go. I'm not mad at it at all. The only hesitation I would have, again, just because it is international, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie to you, with everything going on in this country right now, I'm just saying I might be a little hesitant to really want to build my team around international players. And I'm only bringing that up because I saw something the other day with the kid from Duke, right? That
Mm-hmm.
could potentially get deported back home.
Oh, wow.
Not saying that any of that will happen, but there's just so many things that I would be thinking about, like, and what happens if, just say 5 of your international players are like, I ain't coming.
Mm-hmm. They could say that.
Yeah.
Wow, that is a point I did not think about. I think that is another layer of this. When we think about building your team, it's still a job, and you're building, your corporation essentially around these players. I think that's a great observation. And also, when you think about international players, there isn't a ton of scout that goes into scouting international players. So if the Valkyries scout team did their homework and they know what they're getting, and just because we aren't familiar with these players' games, first of all, put me on. Like, I can't wait to have my new favorite player be one of these international players, And I think of, just to go back, I think of Margot Diedick, coming over in the W a long time ago from Poland. Only one coach saw her tape, and she's almost 7 feet tall, and she became one of the best centers in WNBA history.
Ever.
So it only takes one coach to really believe in you and give you this opportunity. So I'm excited to see how these international players gel.
Well, and Jordan, here's the other thing. Totally agree with you. Margot Diedick, one of the best to ever play in the W. One of the best to ever play, period. Here's the other thing that if I'm a GM, if I'm a coach, that I think about in drafting international players. Because they're rookies coming to the W, but a lot of them aren't really rookies because they played on whether that's their national team, like Malonga, whether that's a club team. So they're kind of sort of pro already anyway, because they start playing on their national teams and club teams at a much younger age. So they have that experience that a typical rookie wouldn't have coming into the draft. So I can also see, just say Natalie or the Valkyries, for example, because they are an expansion team, they have a lot of players internationally that have pro experience already. So that's going to be an easier adjustment for them once the season starts.
Great point. Love that. We'll see. Can't wait to see the Valkyries play their very first game. I'm so excited to see how it all comes together. Another pick that I want to talk about and talk through is Chicago. Chicago went international with their first pick. They got Asha, but then they also got Hailey Van Lith at number 11, which there was a last minute trade that they made to get this draft pick from Minnesota. So they traded. They got Van Lith. We're going to see her reunited with Angel Reese. We are going to see Van Lith learn from a true point guard in Courtney Vandersloot, who is back with Chicago. I think, again, I said this on the live, and I thought she was going to go a little higher. I thought she was going to go to the Sparks, specifically at number 9, because they also needed someone in that point guard role. But her falling to 11 actually fits perfect. Like, she's in such a great situation. And I think this is a great fit for her to learn and grow, and the pressure is not there to be a superstar right away.
Agreed.
I think she's going to be able to ease into her WNBA experience in Chicago. What are your thoughts?
Love it. And I think for me, she went exactly where or around where I thought she would go. I
Mm-hmm.
totally understand your point, though, of saying possibly her going to the Sparks. But I think had the Sparks drafted her, she was going to be expected to come in and like really lead that team, right?
Oh,
Because
interesting. Okay.
who is the point guard that she would be able to learn after or play behind? Whereas
Mm-hmm.
in Chicago, as you just said, Courtney Vandersloot, like, is there a better point guard to learn from? No.
No.
And I do think she will get some valuable minutes in Chicago playing behind Sloot. Um, but I'm excited to see her and Angel reunite. I
Me
am.
too.
I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Listen, don't sleep on Hailey Van Lith. Like Hailey is a competitor, and I feel like
Yeah.
Hailey has a little chip on her shoulder. Like she
Mm-hmm.
showed that in the NCAA tournament, and I think she's gonna show that even in the W. I'm super excited to see what she does in Chicago, what she does in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a really good pick for Chicago.
I love it. I'm trying to find Angel Reese's tweet, but she definitely said we didn't do it right the first time, but we gonna run it back,
Oh, I didn't see
Hailey.
that. I didn't see
We gonna
that.
run it back. I did
Yeah,
see
I
her
like
post
it.
that. I'm trying to find it, but I love that they are going to get another run at it in the pros. And I think if Angel's happy, and you can tell they drafted around Angel and who is going to help Angel and Camilla um, get those rebounds. They needed a
Yeah.
shooter. That's what they got in Asha. They needed another ball handler. That's what they got in Van Lith. So
Yeah.
I think they made the right moves. I think they made the right moves there for sure. Let's talk about the Mystics,
Mhm. Let's do.
because to me,
Mhm.
that is my winner for
Mhm.
the draft. I think the Washington Mystics needed some pieces. I think that's an understatement. They needed some pieces, especially they just traded away Carly Samuelson to get another draft pick in this
Mhm.
draft. And they were
Mhm.
kind of like, this is our rebuilding. Like, we did not have the season that we wanted to last year. We cleared house. We have a new GM, a new coach. We have fresh faces in here. Elena Deladon is retired. Like, we need some newness around us. And I think they did just that. Number 3 pick, Sonia Citron from Notre Dame. I am so high on her. I think she is going to
Yeah.
be such a great pro. She is going to start right away. She is a solid defender, and she can get a bucket on all 3 levels. Then they get Kiki Iriafin, a strong forward that she's probably going to have to play the 3 or playing behind the Shakira Austin and Aaliyah
Mhm.
Edwards, which I think
Mhm.
is smart. And then you get Georgia Amore, who is the best point guard in the draft. And now she is going to go to a team that needs some direction and is going to be able to relieve Brittany Sykes from that point guard position, because Sykes is not a true point guard. She had to play because she was there. But now she can take a deep breath and say, Georgia Amore, you got it. You got it. Take the rock. So I think the Mystics did a complete team renovation. What do you think?
100% they did. Um, I mean, I agree. Georgia Amore comes in, she's your starting point guard, right? I do
She's
agree with
so good.
you. Citron, I think absolutely she's going to start on that other wing. I love what the Mystics did in this draft. And if you're only talking about the draft picks, not looking at the team overall, I'm
Mhm.
I'm going to also put the Connecticut Sun in that. I'm a
Yeah.
big Anissa Morrow, Sanaya Rivers fan. I think the two of them, and especially when you do look at Connecticut, They're rebuilding. They need pieces. I love these two pieces going to Connecticut. I think it's a good fit. But overall,
Mhm.
who won? I'm going to agree with you. The Mystics with those 3 picks. Well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
I mean, it's so nice when it's two teams like the Sun and the Mystics, where a couple months ago we were like, what are you doing?
Yes.
What is
Yes.
happening? The
Yes.
house is on fire. And then they come in and they're like, just wait. We told y'all to trust the process.
Just wait a
And
minute.
of course, we're going to see how it all comes together during the actual season. But I think the fans should feel a lot better
Oh, 100%.
out of this draft than where we were with these organizations during free agency
100%.
when it was a mass exodus. I love this note here from ESPN's grades that they gave each of these, each team during the draft. They gave Connecticut Sun an A, and specifically about Anissa Morrow, how she is a rebounding machine. And they are looking for a new quote unquote engine post Alyssa Thomas era. And I think Anissa Morrow fills that spot. Hearing her get interviewed, what stuck out to me was this confidence of it really didn't matter where I went. I'm going to bring the effort and I'm going to work my tail off. And there's confidence in that. It's not a skill that you can necessarily be in the gym and work on. And she does that too. But she's like, oh, put me wherever. Just give me a jersey.
Yeah,
I'm going to
no
play
doubt.
hard.
No doubt. And that's the type of player you want on your team. You know, I know a lot of people are talking, like we've even talked about her being undersized at her position. What position does she play? But you know what, Jordan? When you have a player like Anissa Morrow, who is just a dog, who is just going to defend, she's going to play hard, and you know she's going to get you at least 10 boards a game.
At
I don't
least.
care what position she plays. Just put her on the floor. And to your point, right? No, she's not Alyssa Thomas, but she reminds me of an Alyssa Thomas. Alyssa Thomas was undersized at her position.
She was.
Alyssa Thomas plays 1 through 5. She just plays 1 through 5. She's just going to be on the floor. She's going to play hard. She's going to rebound. She's going to assist. She's going to defend. All of those things. Alyssa Thomas did it. And I really love this pick for Connecticut with Anissa Morrow.
I love it. Okay, we got too excited. I forgot to toss to a break. We got more about the WNBA draft on the other side. We'll take a break. Welcome back to the Women's Hoop Show. We're still talking 2025 WNBA draft. And real quick, before we move on to maybe some surprises, maybe players who did not get drafted, the Las Vegas Aces are always so interesting to me in the draft because they do their own thing. They just go on a completely different direction than necessary. But we know that they lost their first round pick due to league penalties. They had an investigation, found violations of league rules. That was back in 2023. So their punishment was to lose their first round pick. And they got the first pick of the second round. And then they picked someone that was not on anybody's draft boards, really. She was deep in the crowd from Alabama, Aaliyah Nye. She was there supporting her teammate, Sarah Ashley Barker, and she gets picked. She averaged almost 15 points per game per season. She is a shooter, Sheryl. Not only a shooter, a maker.
Yeah. She gonna shoot it and she gonna make it. I love stories like that, right? We saw that last year with Kate Martin. It happened again this year, not only with Nye, but also with UConn.
Yes.
When I watched Alabama play a few times this year, and Nye was one of those players though that like you knew when she was on the floor. And to your point, she could just flat out shoot the rock. And so it doesn't surprise me that Vegas drafted her because, like you said, Vegas is always doing their own thing. Vegas is like, oh, y'all sleeping on this kid right here. And Jordan, there's a really good chance that she can make this roster.
I agree. The whole thing with the Kelsey Plum trade that people were saying was that they lost shooting. So they went out and said, who is the best shooter in this draft? She had 113 made three-pointers, 42%, 10th in D1 history.
Yeah.
So they went and got that specific person. And then they also got Harmoni Turner from Harvard, who's just like a fan favorite and easy to root for. Someone who is going to work hard and has an incredible story. And I think, you know, when you hear Nikki Fargas talking about that pick, she said it just grabbed us. We wanted her to be on this team. So they went 2 guards. But when you look at the Aces, they didn't need much. I think this is something that can just make it a competitive training camp and see where they fit in.
Yeah.
So I like it.
Because I think some people may forget Liz Kitley, right? Who
she's back.
Playing. Yeah, she'll be playing this season. So I agree with you. Vegas didn't need a whole lot, even though people are like, well, they didn't win last year. But they don't need a lot. You got Chelsea Gray coming back. They added Jewel Lloyd. Obviously Asia. I like these 2 picks for Vegas. Harmoni Turner, to your point, she's listed at 5'10". I don't know if she quite 5'10", but it doesn't really matter. She plays hard. She's one of those kids that, you know, if she goes in, she plays hard, she competes, she does the things that Vegas needs her to do. Could she make the team? Absolutely. I say anyone that goes into training camp, if you go and do the things that you're capable of doing and what the coach, what the GM, what they're looking for, everybody's chances are good. So, yeah, I like that pick for Vegas as well.
I love what Tosh said last night because, you know, Tosh she was a second rounder, 15th pick, and she is now 10 years in the WNBA. And she said for the training camp for these rookies, your job is to take someone else's job.
That's it.
That is your mentality. And I love that so much because it is, I mean, it's a dog eat dog. It's cutthroat.
It is.
But that's your mentality. You say, okay, yeah, I like this roster that you got on your website, but move over. Put my picture there.
You're missing me. Yeah, you're missing me. I like the
love
other
it. Okay.
10, 11, but you're missing me.
Let's go to the players that did not get their name called on draft night that maybe was a little bit of a surprise for both of us and for everyone watching. For me, it was Diamond Johnson from Norfolk State. It is an HBCU, but Diamond is a baller. And everyone has seen that, whether she was at Rutgers or NC State, and then she decided to go to Norfolk State. She would have been the 8th, HBCU player to get drafted, but she did not get picked up. That is a player who I hope gets invited to a training camp to just be able to be in a coach's or GM's good graces, because she can go off on any night. She's played with Caitlin Clark, Paige, Hailey Van Lith on Team USA. So I was a little sad that she didn't get drafted, but that's my pick.
I'm just taking my time to get my words right because there are words that I want to say. First of all, I think it's insane that she didn't get drafted. The kid is a baller. She's a bucket. And you know what? This is just my opinion. Do you not draft her because she went to an HBCU? No, because I'm honestly, Jordan, if I go and look at the players who did get drafted, okay, 1 through 38. You're telling me Diamond Johnson ain't better than some of these kids?
That's the hard part.
No. It's not. It's not hard. Because she is. She is. So
and she's going to get her chance. That's what I want.
Here's what I hope. Yes, I hope the light goes off and they're like, oh, we missed out on this kid. Let's bring her to training camp. And then I would love for her to go into training camp and bust some asses and make a team. Sorry.
Yeah.
Because listen, She knows that she deserves to be in somebody's training camp. She does.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you hold that little chip on your shoulder and say, okay, all I need is an opportunity. Just give me the same opportunity that you're giving all these other 38 players that did get drafted. But there are players who will get invited to training camp. And all I hope is that Diamond Johnson just goes in and she shows everybody who she is and what she's made of. Because she is a kid that can make a difference in this league. So
I think
yes,
so
I was
too.
surprised by her not getting drafted as well. But then when I
Yes.
really think about it, I'm like, but was I? Do you know what I mean? And I'm only saying that
that's
because
fair.
I do. I think it's because she went to an HBCU and people are like, oh no, she went to an HBCU, so she must not be good enough to play in the league. I totally
Especially when
disagree with that.
I disagree too. And with the HBCU, in the sense, the conference competition, I guess, that could be one of those reasons of, well, you weren't playing in a, but my thing with that is she was at NC State. She
Yes.
was at
Yes.
Rutgers and she was
Yes.
doing the same things. So I don't feel like that's a good enough excuse. But anyway, Diamond, we got you back. And we think that you are amazing. And I hope you still believe that you are amazing. And the invite's in the mail to a training camp. There's going to be one coach that believes in it.
I agree.
Another one we were thinking about is Deja Kelly. That was a name that was definitely circulated on mock drafts. And, that's an interesting one because you can't go back in time. But when you think about her career at North Carolina and how great it was and how solid it was, then she goes to the portal, she goes to Oregon. And I don't know, I wasn't hearing much about her throughout the season like I was in North Carolina. And I wonder if that hurt or helped her draft stock at all. But she did go undrafted. And that is another guard that, unfortunately, there's a lot of guards in this draft. And so when her position specifically and her skill set, I think there were too many players like her that she kind of fell down.
I'll be very honest with you. It wasn't until the draft was over that I was like, what happened to Deja Kelly? Right? But then, a lot of people were asking, should she have come out last year? Would it have been better if she would have gone in the draft last year? And I don't know.
Interesting.
But to your point, I heard more about Deja Kelly when she was at North Carolina than I did this year when she was at Oregon. So I don't know if that hurt her. Not really sure. I don't really
one of those head
have
scratchers.
Explanation on this one. Yeah. I do think, like Diamond Johnson, I do think Deja will get an invite to a training camp. And then at that point, it's up to her to, show what she's capable of.
Yes. Well, one player that did not get drafted that we do have a very clear explanation on is Sedona Prince.
Yeah.
She was the 6'7" center from TCU. And, she was projected. Some mock drafts had her at the end of the first round, even at the second round, and she went undrafted. And that is mostly because of the accusations, the serious accusations and allegations that are against her. Multiple sexual misconduct by multiple women, physical abuse by ex-partners. Allegations date back to 2019. And WNBA GMs were very honest, and they said that did factor into why she was not drafted, why they did not want her a part of their organization. There was a lot of outside pleas for GMs to not draft her. Even while she was at TCU, over 200,000 people signed a petition asking her to be removed from the roster, but the school did not take any action. So she was not there at the draft. She did not get the invite to be there in person, and she went undrafted. And personally, I feel like this was the right move. This was the right decision that no WNBA team and the league as a whole made a statement saying that there is no room for this in our league. And yes, they are allegations. She has not been charged, but they're serious and you have to take it very seriously. So I believe that this was the right move by teams and the league.
Yeah, Jordan, we had a conversation about this, I guess last year, 2 years ago with Bebe from the
Mhm.
Aces, right? A similar conversation. And the same thing happened with her. Bebe has found herself no longer in the league. Um, as far as a person, I like Sedona Prince. I've met her. I've spent a little bit of time with her. As a person, I think she's a really good person. 100% agree with you on this one. There is absolutely no place, not only in the league, there's no place in the world, right?
Yes.
For
Facts.
what the allegations are. And again, they are allegations. Sedona has denied all the allegations. But if I'm a GM, I'm just not really prepared, nor do I want to put myself, my organization, my team in this situation, right?
Mhm.
And it's unfortunate for not only her, it's unfortunate for all of the victims, all of the people involved. Um, and the GMs decided we're gonna keep the main thing, and it won't be this draft that you're gonna hear your name in. And the last thing
Yeah.
I will say on that is whatever happened, or I hope Sedona gets the help she needs. I hope she's okay. Just from a mental standpoint. Because here is the other thing. When you've played basketball, whatever sport, you've played it your entire life, right? And you have dreams and goals of someday playing in the WNBA, and you want to hear your name being called in the draft. And then to know that that's not going to happen.
Mhm.
Like, I'm getting emotional just thinking about it, because I can only imagine from a mental standpoint and emotional standpoint what she's going through from a basketball standpoint, right? Not hearing her name and hearing her teammates and her friends being called, like that's got to be a very tough position to be in. But at the same time, I do think the league made the right decision. I think the GMs made the right decision, and hopefully she will come out on a better side of this. And we just gotta keep it pushing.
And even on the basketball side, like you mentioned, there were real basketball concerns. Like it wasn't just for these allegations.
Yeah,
There were real basketball concerns, and GMs were saying that because of her age and her injury history,
yeah,
that
yeah.
it was hard to really even consider her a real prospect. And I thought the age thing was really interesting. She'll be 25 in May. She would be older than most rookies. She has
That's
been
true.
in
That's true.
college since 7 years of college basketball and still wasn't dominating, I guess, as the GMs
Yeah,
were
yeah.
thinking. If you're that much older than everybody, you should be scoring over 30 points a game at your height. So it was a
Yeah,
real basketball
100%.
issue as well, for a reason of not knowing what she would add to any of these WNBA teams that have very skilled centers and skilled bigs. So yeah, I think that is one player that did not hear their name called. There were so many players that did not hear their name called because unfortunately there is only 3 rounds and there's only 38, picks. But the happy news is that there is expansion coming and there
Yes.
are more roster spots that need to be added because here's the thing. If you're a new WNBA fan, this is where it gets tough because we go through the draft night. We're all excited about our favorite college players. And these next couple weeks is going to be a little heartbreaking because you might
Mhm.
see some of your faves' names get waived, get cut, get passed on because teams are dwindling down their rosters before we get to the opening. I just can't believe opening weekend is very soon. And there's
It is.
preseason games before that. So it's going to be very interesting.
I'm raising my hand because I have a question.
Yes, please. What is your question? Sheryl Swoopes.
Well, it's probably for all the coaches and GMs. If you get to a point to where you know a player is not going to make your roster, like, can we waive her or cut her early enough to give her an opportunity to try and go make another squad somewhere else? Because sometimes I feel like GMs hold on to them. They're like, I know she's not going to make this roster, but she's so good that I don't want someone else to pick her up.
That's a good point.
But they just hold on to her. So I'm like, listen, if you know after week 2 that there's no way she's going to make your team, give her a shot to go try out for another one. Just cut the ties. Let's go. Let her go.
But I feel that. I feel like GMs are also upset by their limited roster spots. So they're like, man, if I could change the rules today, I would have you on this team. But don't go. I don't want to scheme against you. So don't go play for the enemy over there. Just stay in our ecosystem. Go play overseas and we'll call you back. But that's a really good point. Hopefully they get the memo as we head into training camp. I don't know, but they might. I
feel them like I do, because I'd be the same. I'd be like, oh, heck no. Because I know as soon as we wave you, this team is picking you up. Nope.
I love it. Sheryl, it's always a blast to talk WNBA draft. And it is always so fun. And it makes us so excited for the WNBA season. Can't wait to keep talking all things women's basketball with you. Thanks for coming on.
Right back at you. I got to go get me a boobs and blazer.
Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow on your favorite podcast app so you never miss an update. Your support means the world. And if you're feeling generous, leaving a quick rating or review helps more Hoops fans discover the show. And you can now see us on our brand new YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe there. Also, our inbox is open for business. Shoot us an email at women'shoops@odyssey.com to tell us what's on your mind. We want to hear your hottest takes about the draft, your burning questions about the upcoming season, and all your feelings about all things women's hoops. We just might feature your note on the show. That's women'shoops@odyssey.com. The Women's Hoop Show is an Odyssey original podcast hosted by me, Jordan Robinson. Today, our co-host was Sheryl Swoopes. Our producer is Phil Sweetek. Our video team is led by Kurt Courtney and includes Tim Meikle, Evan Cox, Allison Jeffrey, and Lauren Vieira. Our executive producers are Greg Holtzman, Asha Saluja, Danny Freisinger, Maddie Sprunkheiser, and Leah Reese Dennis. And special thanks to Moira Curran and Josephina Francis.